The position property, what is it? It specifies a type of positioning method used for an element. So there are basically 5 positions or the values we can say here. So the elements then position using the top to bottom, left to right properties. However, these properties will not work unless the position properties is first set. Okay. So either you want to make the positioning of the elements to be the top, left, right or the bottom. You will be first fixing this position layout. Okay. That is from these 5. And then the other, whatever the top, left, right, top, down, left, right you want to apply, you can apply upon it. And let us see first what is a static. So if at all you're using the static one, this is by default. The position of any element is by default static. That means they are not going to be affected by the top, bottom, left and right properties. It will be static. Okay. An element with the position as static is not positioned in any specific or special ways unless an external application has been made upon it, like towards the topmost level or the bottom, left, right has been specified upon it. Okay. So this will be done under the div tag. Okay. There is an element called as div. Under that we will be positioning it to static. There it goes with the CSS. Okay. By default it is static. No need to change there. So the execution of the static positioning you will see now. Just have a look of it and then we will be moving on to the next one. Now, coming to the relative. So, as soon you have seen the static positioning, how it is. So, now let us see the relative positioning of the element. So, it's a normal position. Okay. An element with the position relative is position relative to its normal position. So, now this text that you're seeing onto the screen, it's towards the right hand side. That means it's not the actual position of the text. Basically, it was centered or by default it is left aligned. But when I have made a shift towards the text, there is some variation into it. That means we need to apply the settings for it as top, right, left and down. Whatever the properties you're going to apply, we will be relatively applying onto that element, and then adjustment must be done from the normal position to whatever relative you want to make upon it. So the other content will not be adjusted to fit into any gap left by the element. So this also will be going under the div element. Okay. Div section you will be setting the position to be relative. Under the position attribute you will be setting it to be relative, and then adjustments will be done where it has to fit actually, either the left side, right side. So that position will be taking place. Execution of it you will be seeing here. Now, fixing the position as fixed position. You are not going to make the changes while the execution of it. So at that time we'll be going with the fixed position of it, such that the it's a position relative to the viewpoint, which means it always stays in the same place even if the page is scrolled. Okay. Even if you are making the scrolling upon the page, it will not be moving. It will be always staying at the same place. That's how the fixed positioning made upon the browser. So the top, left, right, all these positions we will not be using for that because it is fixed upon it. So it will also be going under the div section, and the properties where the position will be fixed as fixed. So the fixed element does not leave a gap in the page where it would normally have been located. So it's not going to leave any gaps such that it has to locate upon the same position where it has fixed. So when you notice the fixed element in the lower right corner of the page, here is the CSS used upon it, you can see. So you will be again seeing the execution of an example programs shown for the fixed positioning of the element. Now coming to the absolute one. So this is a position maintained by the user to the nearest position ancestor instead of the viewpoint fixed. Okay. So wherever the previous position was made, upon that it is absolutely fixed. Okay, so it's going to use the nearest position ancestor. Previously whatever has been fixed, to that nearest one it will be fixing. However, if an absolute position element has no position ancestor, it uses the document body and moves along with the page scrolling. If at all, just imagine that there is no previous ancestor position available for this absolute one, it will be scrolling, it will be moving on with the documentation of the body and scrolling as per the page is moving on. So the absolute position elements are removed from the normal flow and can overlap the elements. So that's how the overlapping can be seen upon the web pages when the position is done absolute. So what is this? Here is a simple example. Okay, has relative position, this is an absolute. Okay, if I move the screen, this will be appearing onto that. It is just a image, so you cannot see right now, but while we will be executing the coding, that time you will be seeing its clear example of execution. Now if we are maintaining the position to be sticky, okay, so it will be based upon the user scroll position. So the toggle button that we will be using for the scrolling, okay, sticky elements, sticky position will be maintaining a scrolling, where depending upon the scroll position, it will be fixing between the relative and the fixed positions. Okay, so the sticky or it sticks the position between the fixed and the relative. It is a position relative until a given offset position is met in the viewpoint. So if you notice there, it will be between the positioning of the relative and the fixed, there is no absolute given for it. It is going to scroll down. Okay, if at all a scroller has been maintained for you, sticky means it will be keep moving here and there as per the scrolling of the screen. So you can see here the element top at the 0 level, and whatever the sticky positions we are maintaining, likewise it will be applicable for it. So that was about the positioning of the elements either in the static, relative, absolute, fixed, and the sticky one we have seen so far. You have seen even the execution of the examples, each one of them, for the clarity purpose. Now we are moving on for the box model. What is this box model basically? So in HTML, when we consider this box model, that means every element of the HTML is considered to be in a box. Okay, separate box is maintained for each and every layout. So you can see here in CSS, the term box model is used when talking about the design and the layout. As now we have entered into the CSS concept, we are talking about the designing and the layout of it. So this box model will help you understand more clearly about the design and the layout view of it. Basically, what is this box model means? We are maintaining separate boxes for each content of the HTML. Like around every HTML, there is a content or a box maintained there. So the box is consisting of content of the HTML page, padding is maintained there, bordering is maintained there, margining is done. So you can see the example of it. So this is the box model of the CSS. So whatever the content of the HTML is there, either it is a table, a text, or an image, everything goes in this content section. Padding is something there we maintain the spacing between the content and the bordering. Okay, how much gap you want to maintain, that we do so with this padding, and it is transparent. It is transparent, that's how you see it in the white color. And bordering, again there is a gap between the content, padding, and the border. Border is basically with the color. You can go with the bordering of the page, okay, with any thickness, width and all, so that you can maintain at the border. And margin is again the, what I can say, limit of the page that you want to maintain. Okay, in so and so dimensions only you should be writing the code. If not, it is not going to be displayed or executed. So margin will set the limits of the CSS. So that's how it is. The content is always inside. It is embedded into the box model, okay, within the padding, border and the margins of it. So explanation of each part is given to you here. You can have a glance upon it. Whatever I have explained previously, that is given to you here. So as you see, padding is transparent. That clearly shows the area around the content, okay, and the bordering is the goes around the padding and the content, and margin is again transparent, which goes outside the border, right? So this is the box model which allows us to add the border around the elements and define spacing between each and every element. Now coming to the text overflow. What is this text overflow? Text overflow in the sense, if at all you're writing some long text and the box is not fitting over there, so it will be exceeding the box and typing goes on. That is being termed as a text overflow. How it can be controlled here? So it specifies the overflowed content that is not displayed should be signaled to the user. It can be either clicked or ellipsed. So the content or the text which is not going to be fit into the space provided or the box given, so user must be alarmed in those cases. The alarming can be done either with the clipping, the means so much of extension is only given for the text. If not, it will be not allowed. Okay, this is some long text that will not be allowed inside the that will not be fitting in the box, and that can be also ellipsed. So ellipsis in the sense, if the content is so long, it will be stopping with the dots over there, right? So that is about the overflow. Example is given to you. So if at all there is a paragraph and we are applying the test case 1, this is like how we are overflowing the content of the text. We are doing it with the clips. Okay. So with the clipping, you will be maintaining the overflow of the text and various other attributes, that is white spacing, no wrapping is applied onto it. Width of the box is 200 pixels, bordering is done upon it, and the text overflow is of type clip. Whereas in the next test case, you have given the text overflow to be ellipsis. Ellipsis in the sense, if the huge text is available still to be typed, but there is a small box available, so it will be ended by ditto, means dot dot dot, and will be stopping over there. That is the meaning of ellipsis. You will be seeing again the execution of it. Now coming to the media types. So reading the systems use media types to determine what type of content a file contains before trying to render it. For example, these are the media types of files. Okay, for example, you're having some JPEG. This is a common example. I want to take it for the images. The type of media we are using here is image. It can go with the file format as JPEG, okay, JPG. So those are the formats of it. If at all you're going with the CSS, it can be either in the text or CSS media type. If at all you want to go with the image and in the form of XML documentation, SVG is the file format available. So these are the media types that we will be including in our XHTML documentation for storing the details of the text. So the EPUB specification defines a set of values and the call for the core media types. These are actually the file formats that is available for maintaining the contents of the documents without the need for fallbacks. Okay, even after the continuation of the usage of the media, there should not be any fallbacks upon it. So that time we will be making use of this media types. Reading systems, these are required to support the formats. Okay, if at all suppose some image file you're using, so at that time you will be either using it with the .jpeg content of it and readable format of it. Okay, and that's how we will be maintaining the media type. Now coming to the building CSS drop downs. What is this drop down? Drop downs in the sense, suppose you want to maintain some drop down list. So what do you do? Basically, a list of items will be given to you. Suppose this is a menu of drop downs, okay, and text of the drop down. So list will be displayed to the user, and that's how the user can be able to apply, right? And a menu is there that will be displayed. If at all any images you want to drop down in the form of a list, so that will be done. You will be understanding this clearly again with the example execution of it. Basics of the drop down. So here we are going to create a box that appears when the user moves the mouse over an element. So as soon as the mouse is moved over an element, so you will be able to see the drop down. So this will be shown to you with the execution part of it. So here is a menu drop down that will list out a list of menu options will be given to the user as soon as it will be clicked upon it. Okay, this is one of the similar example for the previous one that will be fitted in the styled drop down button. Now coming to the what is a user agent style sheet. So this is a set of default CSS rules, okay, that the browser apply on HTML elements automatically, user agents in the sense, okay, ensuring that the consistent visual rendering across the different web pages. Suppose you want to apply any of the web pages, okay, user is automatically applying onto it CSS that the user has applied, so it will be automatically considered by the user consisting visual rendering upon it. So these predefined styles exist in every browser and can help maintain the uniformity for the elements like headings, paragraphs, list, and more of the elements whatever you want to apply, and basic stylings that we apply upon like cell padding, margins, font size, colors and all. So all this can be applicable upon the style sheets. User agent, why the term has come is, it's a set of default CSS rules that has been set upon all the websites, okay, all the web browsers. So how the user agent style sheet works is, when a web browser loads a web page, the browser parses the HTML to create a DOM, that is a document object model. That tree will be maintained, and before any custom styles are applied, the browser applies the user agent style sheets to the elements in the DOM tree, and that's then the default appearance of the page will be given to user. Okay, now the custom styles whatever are there upon the web page with the use of the CSS, it will be applied upon it, overriding the browser's default rules. Okay, so what is happening here basically, whatever the user has actually applied the CSS properties onto the particular web page, there it is overriding with the basics default rules. So you can see here, whatever the selection, we did this in the CSS, like selector is a property and its values were there. Closing of this section, again we have the syntax may vary depending upon the browser being used. Okay, so for the HTML, whatever page you want to use, upon the HTML page if you want to, these are the by default settings. Okay, so by default if you want to make certain settings on the web page, you can do so in the upon the elements of the HTML. So these are the user agent style sheets. So you are applying it wholly and solely upon the elements, so which will be again colliding or cascading with the user applied CSS on the web page. So upon the body, you are applying certain margin, background color, font family, font size, and line height, and so on. So this is for the body part. For the headers, you are applying some other different settings for it with the properties. And for the anchor tag, you have applied various variations there. So these are all user agent style sheets. Okay. Upon each element, we are maintaining it separately. Now, what is CSS3? CSS, so far you have understood cascading style sheets. Now a version of CSS has come, a new version we can say, and that's how the name came as CSS3. So this is a style sheet language used to style with the pages, with the web pages, while CSS3 is its advanced version, okay, where the new features and the modules has been applied. So it has the enhanced feature of styling capability like animation, transition, media queries, and rounded corners, providing more flexibility and functionality to the web design. additional features which are missing in CSS have been incorporated now in CSS3 with the animation techniques and various other transitions, media queries for the web pages, making it more flexible and more functional to the web design. Now, understanding the differences between CSS and CSS3, for now you might have been got the clarity upon the CSS. What is CSS? It's the cascading style sheets, stylings that we are applying upon the various HTML elements. Okay, it is primarily used to provide the stylings on the web pages, including the color, layout, background font, borders, and so on. The main objective of CSS is to improve the content accessibility, providing the enhanced flexibility and control of its presentation and characteristics, right? So CSS basically for the view and application of it, but CSS3 has some additional features where we can call it as cascading style sheets level 3. So it's an advanced version of it where we are dealing with the structuring, styling, and formatting of the web pages in terms of transitions, animations, okay, flexibility of the user. So CSS3 introduces several new features and it is supported by all the modern web browsers. One of the most significant advancement in CSS3 is splitting of the CSS standards into separate modules, making it simple to learn and use. Okay, so this is one of the most significant advancement in CSS3 where it can split the CSS standards into separate modules and make use of it very simply and which can be learned easily. So few of the new features of the CSS3 is combinator. There we had only selector and its property and value. Now we have an additional feature called as combinator, which introduces several general sibling combinators, okay, prefixed with a tilde symbol that matches with it. CSS selector is again common where we move on to that, where we use it more advancementally, okay, upon the single or the simple selectors offered by the CSS, providing a sequential, easy to use and simple selectors. So this is also the simple selectors we are having where we will be applying the usage of it. Now, pseudo elements, if at all you want to make additional features upon the elements, we will be applying it by use of the pseudo elements by making use of the new convention of the double colon, okay, which help us to define the pseudo elements for easier and more detailed styling, okay. Border styling, so this is also one of the advanced feature of the CSS3, which includes the new border styling features like bordering radius, image slice, image source, and width stretch. So these are the features of the CSS3. Background style properties. So it helps you to give the background styling, okay, and the background size and the origin of it can be maintained with this background style properties. So these are about the features about your CSS3. So this is an advancement of your CSS where we have animation, transitions, and multimedia effects more when compared to your CSS.